you like the idea of being happier, way happier, let me give you the biggest frame shift you need right now and save you the 8 years of meditating it took me to figure it out. Hello, my name is Jonah Primo, and welcome to the Overexamined Life, where we draw life-changing wisdom from around the world and package it into something bite-sized that can reshape your life today. Subscribe if that sounds useful. We do 2 videos a week. Okay, so let's start with a hypothetical. You're at work and a coworker who performs worse than you gets the promotion you've been aiming for. You're understandably angry and upset. The situation feels unfair, and it seems like the decision wasn't made on merit. Now, you might be wrong about that, but that doesn't matter. It's how you feel. You feel betrayed, wronged, hurt. And what you don't realize is that these feelings color every interaction you will have for the foreseeable future. On your drive home, you don't hear your favorite songs because you're lost in painful thought. The traffic drives you mad, extra mad, because you're lost in painful thought. At dinner with your family, you're irritable. You don't care how their days went or listen to their stories. You can barely taste your food because you're lost in painful thought. You're losing opportunities for joy and connection every second, replaying an event you can't change. You're being a worse partner, you're being a worse parent, you're being a worse person because of it. And this behavior can last for hours, days, or weeks, depending on who you are and the gravity of the situation. What you want to say here is, we all have bad days. That's okay, right? Wrong. The stakes are so much higher than you think. What we manage to forget every day is that we only have one shot at conscious experience, and it's absurdly, inconceivably short. Between the existence of the universe and the day you were born, you have spent hundreds of thousands of years unconscious. And soon you'll spend another eternity in the same state. Imagine how long 1,000,000 years is. Now times that by infinity. That's the amount of time you're going to spend experiencing nothing. And in the middle of this perpetual coma, you have a tiny little span of about 75 years, if you're lucky, to enjoy being alive. And you've used a lot of that already. We have this tiny little window to see and smell and think and love and feel. And this window has barely started and it's already ending. The scale of waste that occurs when we allow ourselves to be miserable about things we can't control is mind-boggling. Yes, disasters happen. That's life. But we also turn relatively inconsequential bad moments into disasters in our heads. Yes, some people are in war zones, but guess what? I'm not talking to them and they're not listening to me. I'm talking to you, the person with enough stability to listen to this. You can't afford bad moments to become bad days because life is too short to justify them. And yet, this happens multiple times daily on different scales. We want more money and less pain and more prestige and less boredom and more sex and less stress. And while we fantasize about a world we don't have, time is ticking. And we drift through life dissatisfied, and it could all end next year or in 50 years. And either way, it doesn't matter, because compared to how long we'll be dead, in a relative sense, we're dying tomorrow. And when it's all over, you'll wish you spent less time irritable, scared, and angry. You'll want that time back to laugh and listen and enjoy the fruits of being alive. And I have the hack. The hack is mindfulness. And I don't think people do a very good job of explaining why the hack is mindfulness. They just say, do mindfulness, you'll feel better. That's not true. The reason why mindfulness is so powerful is because it offers you a fork in the road with every negative emotion. a way to choose joy over psychological torment. Imagine being in control of that decision. Let's use anxiety as an example. The untrained mind leans into anxiety. When you're anxious, this is what the mind does. It ruminates, it predicts catastrophe, and it suffers. All the while, birds are chirping and the wind is blowing against your skin and friends are trying to connect with you. Without mindfulness, you just marinate in misery. You suffer more and you let the storm clouds grow. But the fork I'm talking about, the fork mindfulness offers you, is the ability to simply notice the anxiety as a physiological response and to simply get on with your life as if it's not there. You become skilled enough to be able to say, this is a thing I'm feeling because of the way my brain is designed, but it doesn't have to control me. And then you can proceed to enjoy the full spectrum of whatever the present moment offers you. You never buy into the anxious thought in the first place, and so it has no power over you. It's like a hiccup or a cough. It's just a thing that happens in your body that you notice and changes nothing about anything at all. Something of no consequence. And as you get better at mindfulness, you notice every emotion that visits you faster. And now you have power over it. And it doesn't last as long. You have the power to just wave and smile as it knocks on the door as if it was just an annoying neighbor. And just like an annoying neighbor, you can acknowledge them without letting them in. Our minds by default let in everything. We let every thought who knocks on our door in. And we don't just let them in, we let them redesign the entire house, mess with the thermostat, connect their phone to every Bluetooth device, and play their shitty ass music through the entire house 24/7. And the alternative is so profoundly important and so accessible. It just takes a little bit of effort, but the payoff is insane. Do you know what happens when you don't let the annoying neighbor knocking on your window in? They get bored and walk away. It's the same with emotions, anxiety, sadness, anger. If you don't embrace them, sooner or later they get bored and disappear. Nothing is permanent unless you make it so. If you let them in, they grow like parasites, they fester. And this is just negative emotions I'm talking about, but mindfulness also gives you the power to embrace the good emotions, to let in who you want to let in, and be grateful when things are going well and truly present in the presence of something beautiful. I was going to do an end of year review today, and I was going to talk about how happy I felt. And I realized I did that on my podcast last year. And then I realized, ever since I made mindfulness a priority that takes precedence over everything, each year has been happier than the last. So if you need a New Year's resolution, let this be the one. If you want guidance with that journey, there are links in the show notes for multiple different services and programs that can help you get started. But otherwise, just commit to caring about what your mind does. Just start to attempt to bother to simply think about what you're thinking about. And you will not only be a far happier person, but you'll be a better person and a better person to be around. Life is so short, so ridiculously short, you cannot afford not to be mindful. I'm Jonah Primo. This is the Overexamined Life. See you next time.